Today we're going to be fishing in Bay City, Michigan. Now normally when we come to Bay City we fish out in Saginaw Bay, but as you maybe can tell already, the wind is blowing a little bit today. In fact, they were calling for 10 to 20 mile an hour winds. I think we'll just add the two together because I bet you it's blowing 30, so the bay would be just nasty. Chase and I have been here the last couple of days fishing the inaugural AIM walleye event, and our partner, Gary Parsons, took second, fishing in the Saginaw River, not a place most people fish when they come here. So we're going to be fishing small spots around bridges. We're going to be trying to vertical jig. Chase, the fishing rocker back there, Brian, Schram, and me, we're going to do everything we can to get you the next bite.
Terms like jigging, current, wind, and even boat control are typically very common when the topic of discussion is river fishing for walleyes. However, these words begin to take on a whole new set of meanings in Bay City on the Saginaw River watershed just off of the Great Lake Huron.
Fish. Fish.
There is a unique set of circumstances surrounding this physically demanding river walleye bite.
Oh yeah, he's a good one. Now the wind's got me.
Which, when utilized properly, can produce bay-sized walleyes on days where Saginaw Bay would otherwise be inaccessible.
Look at there. That's a good fish. You wouldn't know it that you could go right downtown in a place like Saginaw Bay or Bay City here and catch these big fish. But a lot of times we outthink walleyes. We think they got to be out in deep water, they got to be next to structure or whatever. Many times they're just sitting in places you would never think. What a great fish. Chase, back us up because we're getting close to the wall, but I'm going to let him go right here. She put up a pretty good fight. I think she's going to be all right. Oh yeah, there she goes. Normally when you fish a river, you want to work with the current, especially in the depths we're fishing. We're fishing anywhere from about 10 down to 15 feet. You'd want to do something called vertical jigging, just working with the current, controlling the boat to keep your line straight up and down. Now we got a little problem going on today with this strong wind. What's actually happening is the water from Saginaw Bay is getting pushed back into the river. It's called the Seiche effect. And as that river is pushed backwards, it's actually stopping all the current from running. So in some places we have no current. In other places we actually have a reverse current today because the wind is so strong. So instead of working with the current, what I'm having to do is control the boat and pull us around. So we are not vertical today, we're going to be off vertical. It makes it quite a bit more difficult to feel the bottom, but the fish tend to be in very small spots, so I've got to control the boat, stay on those spots, even if it means working against the current.
Got one. Oh yeah, saw that. Oh, that's a big fish.
Good one?
Yes.
Oh, look at that rod doubling over.
Just by the bend of the rod.
You sure that's a fish?
I'm sure it's a fish. Yeah, it's a fish. For the boat.
I'm gonna try and keep this boat around. Hopefully you don't get on top of him too much.
Yeah, get over here, Brian. Oh, it feels pretty good, but it's way under the boat. Yeah, get the net, Brian.
I got it. I'm ready.
All right. Is this a good one?
Oh, man.
There he is. Yeah, get him.
Oh, nice.
Look at that guy.
It's like white on one side.
Yeah, look at that.
It's albino on one side.
Well, they're here.
Nice one, Chase.
It's like albino.
Look at that thing.
Look at that fish.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen one like that.
Yeah, perch sheephead.
Even his tail, look at how the white tip on his tail.
He's a sheep eye.
It goes way up on it.
He's a sheep eye. All right, let's get him back.
All right, cool.
Gorgeous.
Oh yeah, he's ready.
Obviously, we've got a ton of wind. We got 20, 25 mile an hour winds. It's blowing right up the river. And the key on these fish is they're in very small spots. They're hanging around little rises in the bottom of the river. And so I'm trying to control the boat to keep us in the right spot and keep our lines as close to vertical as possible. What I've found I've had to do is actually go to a dual motor situation. What I'm using is my bow mount to actually move us around slightly, let us slip back, pull forward. But I've had Chase put down the kicker engine in the back to kind of compensate for this wind. So he's running it on a real slow speed, a speed that basically holds us steady, and again I can use that bow mount to move us around. So dual motors are sometimes what you got to use when the wind is really strong. We got one, boys.
Hey,
It's a good one.
he's got one.
It's a real good one.
Is this cracking or what?
Oh man, I tell you what, it's a good thing they did because it's hard to feel at the bottom even. Schram,
right.
the net.
I'm the net guy today.
That's all right. Yeah, he's fighting good.
Yeah.
All right.
It looks like he's staying down,
It's
huh?
hard in these waves. He's a good one, boys. Man, is this a good one?
Yes, it is.
Lift it. I'm gonna lift. Oh, here he goes down. Actually, have to back reel him a little. Here he comes, Schram. Get him. Yes. Look at this. This is a good
All
fish.
right.
I mean, whoop.
That build.
The nice thing is there's no doubt when these big ones, you're gonna have to grab it for me, Schram, because I'm trying to hold on in this wind. This wind is unbelievable.
I know.
I'm so glad we're not out on Saginaw Bay, man. Nice
All right.
knuckleball, huh? Had to put on 3/8 ounce jigs to get these things. Got the job done. That's a beautiful fish there.
yeah.
Look at that.
Healthy
Got to
fish.
be 23, 24 incher.
Yep.
The good thing is they're really pounding it because it's hard to feel the bottom with this
Yeah.
wind. It's actually looping your line. But man, when he hit, I knew it. That's gorgeous fish.
All right.
Very nice.
Good looking fish.
And it's like the old tails waving goodbye here in the wind, but we're gonna get this one back in the water. Everybody else can catch him. That's a good fish. And what a great fight.
Yeah.
There you go, buddy.
The real deal. Straight talk to make you a better fisherman. Brought to you by thenextbite.com.
We're actually going to take a little bit of a break out of this 30-mile-an-hour wind we got here today. It's pretty brutal out there. And kind of go through the different jigs that we're using today. We're using Fintech knuckleball jigs. One thing about this river that we're fishing today is the water's pretty dark. So for colors, what we're looking at is using something bright. Okay, we have an orange and chartreuse, a green and white, and one that they call fire. All these jigs are very bright, easy to see in this dark water for these fish. What we also did with this heavy wind is it's getting tough for us to feel the bottom. We went a little bit up in size. We were previously using 1/4 ounce jigs, but had to go all the way up to 3/8 ounce just to feel the bottom, to stay as vertical as possible and get the right feel so you can get more fish in the boat. Now for bait on these knuckleball jigs, what we're using is 3-inch Berkeley Gulp Alive minnows. And I'll show you exactly how we're hooking these up. It's really pretty simple. We're taking the 3-inch gulp tail and just stringing it right on the hook, just like you normally would. So not just plucking it through the nose, but stringing it right up on the hook where it lays flat. So a pretty simple presentation. We're using bright colors. We're using a jig that's a little bit heavier, Berkeley Gulp tail, and it's really helping us catch a lot of fish today.
The 30-mile-per-hour wind, seiche effect of the current, and their continuing success in boating some nice walleyes creates a literal whirlwind atmosphere for Keith Kavajecz, Chase Parsons, and Brian Schram as they both break down and battle the elements of this modified vertical jigging river bite.
It feels like a pretty good one, Keith.
Right at the edge of that sun in the dark there, huh? Yeah. Good one, Chase?
Yeah, that's a good fish. I think it's going to be a walleye, too. It's staying down. Oh, he's making a run on me.
Oh yeah, there he is, walleye.
Yep.
Walleye. Good one.
Yep.
Get him, Schram. There you go.
Nice.
Nice.
Walleye.
Good fish.
Oh, look at that thing.
Well, the good news is I got the spot mark because the bridge is making a shadow of the line and you were right straight on it.
Just hammered it, too. I was holding it, just went thwack. Oh, what a healthy fish,
man.
huh?
Good Walter.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
Look at that. Just chunky. Just a beautiful fish. Yes.
And they fight hard when it's
Fight
so shallow in
hard.
there.
Just hammered the rod. Oh, let's get it back in the water, huh?
All right, man.
Oh. There she goes. Yeah. I know. I almost went right with them. There's a few different things we're looking at in the Saginaw River in terms of locations to fish. Bridge pilings is one of them. We're catching a lot of these fish right tight up to the bridge pilings. There's a regular structure around them. We're locating a lot of fish real tight to these pilings. Another one would be under these bridges actually. There's rock humps. A lot of irregular structure goes up and down. These walleyes are sitting tight to the bottom right on this irregular structure. The third key thing we're looking for are sharp drop-offs. We're looking at drop-offs anywhere from 10 to 18 feet. And if they're sharp, that's fine. We're vertical jigging down these drop-offs. There's a lot of fish all over them, and those are key areas that you want to look for when you're vertical jigging rivers.
Ooh, I got one. I came right around that pillar.
Yeah.
I just got on the, I'm trying to swing around it, and yeah, that's called pillar fishing. My line
It's on the other side.
is on the other side of the pillar from where we're just raking that fire line all over on that cement.
The good one?
Here he comes around that pillar. He doesn't want to leave that cement either. Did you notice that? These pillars are a key deal out here.
All right, man.
Get him! Oh, good I mean, I couldn't get it away from that darn pillar.
Really nice fish.
That's been a key area out on the river here, is get around these bridge pilings, these pillars. But you get around those pillars and there's different current swirls and the current stops and then it goes and there's dead spots.
That thing was sitting right there.
Yeah, and what's weird is when you're fishing these rivers, you really gotta play around a little. You got to move around because every day as the current changes, like today where it's going backwards or if the current's going downstream, little places change. They don't sit the same place every day. This one was sitting right on the nose of that pillar back there. I'm glad my knuckleball went right by him. This is a pillar fish here. A pillar of our community, our Saginaw River community. All right, we'll get him back in this river. There you go, young man. Perfect.
All right.
Hot Topics. Leading edge gear, techniques, and information to make you #1 on the water. Brought to you by Mercury.
You know, in the walleye market, which is the market that we deal with a lot, one of the things that you see a lot is these tiller handles. And this handle here looks a little bit different than anything I've ever seen. Can you go through some of the features, benefits of this handle here, Mike?
Sure can, Chase. We'll start with the shifter handle that's been moved up to the front of the handle. Easy access that allows you to shift it both forward and reverse, and there's a nice soft handle for grip. Next we have the RPM adjuster. You can feather your RPM, which controls the speed of the boat, by every 10 RPM, and you can push it plus or minus as you go forward, and it'll adjust your speed.
Oh, okay.
Soft handle, throttle and shift handle. We have the ability to adjust it for tension so that you can make it hard or easy, depending upon conditions on the water. We have the trim and tilt button right at the end, so it's easy access.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I've seen is you're going through all these functions and they're all right at your hands, so
At your
everything's right there.
Absolutely.
So that's real good. Now, a few years ago, Mercury came out with this big tiller handle for the larger outboards. What's the difference between that handle previously and then this one that we have here?
What we've done is taken the big handle that was very successful the last couple of years on the big engines and actually took it down to the horsepower 40 through 60 horse. We had to change the bracket because the midsection is different, so there's a different bolting pattern, but in essence it's the same handle that the big engines and the big boats actually use.
So no matter what size boat you're running now, you can go out and get this handle, a different variety of horsepower options, and basically set it up to any size boat that you want.
This year we have it on our 40-60, as you see here. 75 through 115, you can get it with power or without power.
Okay.
And also anything above 115, including the Verado 4-cylinder, you can actually have power on all of those units as well.
Very nice. Well, thanks, Mike.
Everything that makes up this unique river walleye bite for Keith Kavajecz, Chase Parsons, and Brian Schram is still rocking and rolling. From the relentless wind to even the anglers themselves.
Look at, I'm shrimming. I caught a walleye today. He came out to play.
That's
He
not
put a
very good.
smile on my face.
So we have professional anglers who are singers and professional singers who are anglers.
Look at that, Phil.
Yeah.
Came up pretty shallow,
Slam
didn't
it
it?
pretty good, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
slammed
we were
it.
only in about 8 or 9
yeah,
feet
that
of
was up
water.
nice and shallow.
I caught a walleye today.
I caught a walleye today. He came out to play, put a smile on my face.
From the very start, the success of this Saginaw River jigging pattern has been fueled by challenging the normal institutions of angling. But one thing remains clear. With zero water visibility, abnormal current activity, and walleyes hovering on microstructure as deep as 10 to 15 feet of water, using the right gear is key when big walleyes are on the line.
Two key components when you're out here jigging, especially when you've got a lot of wind like this, is your rod and your line, because you're going to need a lot of sensitivity. All of these fish are going to be right next to the bottom. So first of all, you need to be able to precisely feel that jig hitting the bottom, and a lot of these places are very uneven, maybe rock piles, little ditches and things, so you want to work that jig down and up and follow the bottom real precisely. So very sensitive equipment's going to help you with that. Secondly, the bites, although some of them are really hard, some of our best fish came on just the lightest little ticks. So the two things that I would suggest for you are, first of all, get yourself a real good high modulus graphite rod. I wouldn't go with a real long rod for this. We're jigging right over the side of the boat. 6-foot rod is plenty. Second thing, and maybe more important than anything, is the line that you use. We like to use 6-pound test fire line for this kind of jigging. You can use it really in any color in this kind of a river. You can use the smoke, the flame green, or I like the crystal. But that 6-pound test fire line is no stretch. It's going to let you really easily feel the bottom and really easily feel those bites, and it's going to catch a lot of walleyes.
Got one, Keith?
I do.
Schram. Get the net.
Fish?
I don't know. He's getting bigger.
You gotta talk louder in this wind. I couldn't even hear you.
I set the hook, he didn't feel that big, but he got a lot bigger quick. Oh yeah, he's a good one. I'm gonna hold him down, get that net ready. Ready? Here he comes, get him. Yeah! Very good one. That's what I'm talking about. These are the fish that normally you find out in the bay. But we found them here. Well, look at this thing. I gotta kind of watch here so I don't slip into trouble. But man, oh man, look at that fish.
Where's the lure?
It's in there somewhere.
What a good fish, Keith.
That's called a fire. Got some chartreuse and black in it.
Nice. I just put that on.
Did you? I hope it helps you too. Look at how chunky he is, fat.
Yeah.
That's a nice fish.
Oh, no doubt.
I tell you what, a lot of people come to Saginaw Bay thinking they got to be out in the bay. Well, I'd hate to be out there today with this wind, but you come into the river and there's a lot of these fish that are either transitioning through the river or are just resident all year long. Man, that's a great fish. Well, I'll get him back in the river. Maybe he'll go to the bay or maybe he'll just stay here. Oh, he's ready to go. There it is. Yeah. Now, push me back under that bridge, man. Push me back under that bridge. Okay, today we're going to be fishing on Bay City. On Bay City.
We're actually using FinTech knuckleball jigs. Got the net there, Schram?
Jeez. I got the net
Oh yeah, it's a walleye.
tangled already.
Come on, Schram, get your net. What are you doing, man?
What is that?
What are you doing?
I smell the catfish. Smells good, good. I smell the catfish like I knew I would.
All right. Got my face a little wet on that one.
Well, you needed a shower.
It's a typhoon out here.
For more on the latest information for walleyes, muskies, and northern pike, check out the forums section and the extensive library of articles found on the Next Bite website at www.thenextbite.com, where you can always find real fishing information from real fishing experts.